Hey, Raindrops. Yes. So on today's episode of Reality with the King, y'all, I got one of the stars of my latest creation, honey. The newest show that is the talk of the town on Twitter, on Threads, on TikTok, Instagram, Detroit Free Press, honey. Yes. I am talking about Christina Bowman Smith from the hit show Love and Marriage Detroit.
Hey. Hey, Carlos.
Hey, baby, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm rested. I feel good.
We are both in our office.
Yes, this is definitely my office. Great name. I never thought of that.
Don't steal it, honey. It's mine. I trademarked it.
I might have to borrow it.
It's mine, honey. No, listen, you are so beautiful. I love you. And we got a lot to talk about, mama, especially after last night's episode of Love and Marriage Detroit. But before we get into all that, number one, make sure y'all like and subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button so you don't miss an episode. Christina, I had your husband on last week.
hmm You did.
Did you watch it?
I did. I watched it.
What did you think?
I think he did really well. I think that I still wanted to kind of punch him in the neck. I'm like, if you don't clear up this whole, yeah, right there. If you don't clear up this whole insecure thing, okay, it's going too much. Like, clear it up now, sir. So he almost got because of that. Overall, he did good. I did read in the comments that somebody said something like that. I can't stand Brandon, but this interview made me like him, and I don't like that. I thought that was
Yes, yes.
because he's likable. Brandon is an amazing person. He's so likable, but he has his issues that like everybody else has. And sometimes he could be a jerk and an a-hole. And he's really learning that about himself by seeing himself like play out on TV. But the thing that I love about my husband is that he's working on it. He's like, wow, babe, I'm sorry. I'm working on these things. I did not know that I came off this way. So that's what I can appreciate about this show and my husband.
Let's get right into it, Christina. A lot of people feel like you are insecure. They
Okay.
feel like because you have a tracker on his phone, I'm teasing, y'all share locations.
Ow.
People feel like you're insecure. What do you say about that statement that people have about you?
I mean, it really doesn't bother me that much because I know who I am. I know that I don't have an insecure bone in my body. Brandon actually knows that, and I don't think it was shown on the show, but when we had our marriage mentorship conversation after like we went the 4 days, they're like, Brandon, like, where's this insecure thing coming from? Like, y'all have never had issues as long as we've been talking to y'all for the last 2 years. Y'all have never had women issues. That's never been something that came up. So why would, like, where's this coming from now? And he said, I know my wife's not insecure, but it just felt like good for the boys to be on my side about some stuff. And he just felt like he was being protected by his boys. And I'm like, okay, I get it. So that wasn't played on that episode, but that's really the truth for us. Like, we don't have women issue. That is not like a conversation that comes up in our household. Women artists, that's not a real issue for us. Again, I've worked with Brandon. I helped him build Star Factory to where it is. I stepped back when I got pregnant. Yes. So I put blood, sweat, and tears into Star Factory. I helped groom his artists. I vocal trained his artists. I helped manage his artists. And a lot of his artists, they're gorgeous and they're my friends. So everybody's like, what is this? What is this? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, but again, people can feel how they feel. I get it. But I know who I am and I know that that's not really me. So I don't really care, honestly.
Baby, keep that same attitude about how you really don't care
I
because you are
don't.
going to go far in life. Please don't be somebody who all of a sudden, and I said this to you guys too personally, don't ever become someone because your fans want you to be this person and or you read these comments and you try to become what you think the world wants. So I love your confidence, and I love the fact that you know who you are, and most importantly, you know whose you are, baby.
Oh, yeah. No, I stand firm on, who I am, and I'm not gonna be swayed. Like, I've been me forever. Like, even before any of this, I was always a famous person in my mind. I've
Are
always
you
been a
are you
star.
famous?
I When I go places, people recognize me. What you want to call it? Call it what you want. But I feel like I've been prepared for this because that's just kind of how my mind frame has always been. I mean, take it how you want, but I just feel like I've always been a little famous.
One thing that a lot of people have been saying about you on this show is you and Brandon are giving Melody and Martell vibes. Now, I know you didn't know who I was or Love and Marriage Huntsville, and I, for one, take that as a compliment because it goes to show that you were trying to like rush. Nothing wrong if you were, but it goes to show that you were like, y'all want to talk to me? Let's figure it out. What do you say to people who feel like, okay, Brandon and Christina are the new Melody and Martell?
um, I mean, I feel like they're saying that because they see the toxic moments that we're having on the show, right? I mean, it is what it is. We went into this knowing that we had some issues and they were going to be highlighted. We were cool with that. I think they see that and I hear them saying like they're not going to make it. Like they're going to divorce. They're the new Martell and Melody. I get it. Like it does look crazy. We look like we might not make it. And there have been moments that we even thought amongst ourselves that, hey, we might not make it. So that's actually like a real thing for us. I won't accept it for me. I won't just like take it on and put that on me because I know the God that I serve. We pray. We put our marriage in God's hands. And, if we ever do split up, it has nothing to do with the show. And it has nothing to do with us not trying to fight for this. So, I don't take it personal. I don't think it's a good or a bad thing. And like I mentioned to you before, if they're saying it because, Martell and Melody were the stars of the show, I'll take that too. Because,
Are you and Brandon the stars of Love and Marriage? Oh, not the
shut up and pray.
Wait. Let me see it. Is that from a Christina Bowman Smith line of mugs?
Yes, this is my shut up and pray. That's the prayer ministry that I have. So
And y'all will see a lot of that this season. Mine says allegedly. So allegedly, do you think that you and Brandon are the stars of Love and Marriage Detroit?
Yeah, I do. I mean, what do you want me to say? You want me to lie? Close. I mean, Carlos, what do you think? Let me interview you.
Hey, let me tell you, honey. Let me tell you something, baby. I have been doing this way too long to ever answer a question like that, baby. All of y'all stars. I love everybody from all my shows, and that's gonna be that. You
politically correct. No, but I do think I think everybody's a star in their own right. I do. Like I think
agreed.
everybody brings something amazing and different to the table.
Yes, and everyone should think they're the star. That's always a funny thing. Now, as long as you don't let it get to your head, child, where you start acting crazy. Now, but Christina, we ain't gonna, because I don't play with that.
Uh-oh. We might have some beef.
Yeah, honey. Yes. Okay. Well, we saw the first episode out the gate. People had people had a lot of strong convictions about the men on the show. People think that Brandon emotionally abuses you, that he's toxic. Those are very strong statements. And obviously, you are his wife. And they're saying this based upon the way they're taking how he treats you. Being, distant with you while you were calling him while he was in the studio. Telling the whole tables next to him, beside of him at LaToya's event. She's insecure, y'all. She's in all of those things. What do you have to say to people who think you are in an emotionally abusive marriage?
I can see why they would say that, like, from the show, especially the first episode. And from looking on the outside in, I will say this. Brandon and I had two completely different upbringings. He has, culturally it's different. He has a Caucasian mother, a Black father, a very Detroit Black father. And he learned some things from his father, or watching his father's interactions, that he probably didn't realize were so horrible until we got married and I started like holding him accountable to certain things. And then with that being said, culturally, being raised by a Caucasian woman, she's just not the woman that's putting her foot down on Brandon and teaching him, like, sir, that you just don't do this, you don't talk like this, this is not how it goes. And then he feels like he had his own issues growing up in his household. Like, there was and we talk about this on the show, there was a lack of emotion in the household. There was a lack of conversation. So Brandon came into our marriage with some communication issues, connection issues, and he knows now where they have stemmed from. So considering the type of household he grew up in, not that I'm making any excuses for my husband, because I'm not. He knows that I don't play that. Without him ever being held accountable by his mother or anybody in his life, he would act the way he acts. He would be the way he is in a relationship, because those were things that were left unchecked in his life. With us being together, he knows that I'm a strong woman. I don't play. I put my foot down and I stand on what I got to say. That for Brandon was very hard for him to deal with, because again, he comes from a household where he can just say what he wants, do what he wants, because he had a white mama. So it was tough for him being with me, because he's like, whoa, you a little too, and I'm like, no, you're not about to play with me. And so I think that's where a lot of our issues came. He really thought I was a tyrant. And I'm like, no, I'm not a tyrant, but you're going to learn that you're not about to play with me. And you can get gone if you think you are. And so,
well, not to cut you off, honey, you also said to him that you can have any man that you want.
I can. I mean, and I'm sorry. Look, Carlos, what you want me to say? I can. And I don't mean that in a cocky way. I mean it in a way like, sir, recognize who I am and what you have, because quit playing with me, because you knew who I was when you asked me to marry you. So don't get brand new and want to put on because your friends are egging you on. Like, your friends are putting a battery in your back and you want to play. Like, you got to understand, when I married Brandon, there was a lot of questions like, how'd he get her? You know what I'm saying? How'd he get her? And, wow, why she with him? And I get it. So he probably, has this
Why
thing.
Do you get it? Tell me that.
Why what?
Why did you get when people would ask you, why are you with him? How did he snag you? Why did you get that?
I get why I feel like he might have a little bit of something to prove. That's what I get. I get why he's like, let me act like she just like so insecure, she's so all over me. Because I feel like he got something to prove a little bit. I get it. Like, people were saying that.
I'm gonna shut up and pray.
Carlos, it's layers to this.
Baby, it's more layers than the hairstyle you're wearing right now, baby. It is definitely Christina, you are.
Cause stop.
I like you, Christina. You're fun. Okay. Anywho, will you read the comments about people having these strong opinions about you and the other women on the show? Mm-hmm. We talked about the men. Let's talk about the women. They have said, oh my God, these women let these Men run over them. They're weak. They're not strong like we want them to be. What do you have to say about that?
I don't agree at all. If you knew any of us, we are not, there's nothing weak about none of us. Like I think that because we're all PKs, we all are women that grew up watching our parents navigate the church world and navigate churches, and our moms being first ladies. You have to have a certain type of personality to be the first lady of the church. And you have to learn how to get behind your husband and let him be who he gonna be, and then take him home and be like, look, babe, I'm gonna let you be on the front street and look how you looking, but this is not, what's happening. So I feel like we have a level of respect for our husbands in the forefront, but there's nothing weak about us. We definitely still go to our husbands and express ourselves, express our minds. Brandon and I, unfortunately, had some of that spill over into the public. That has never in the history of our 12 years marriage happened. We have never had a public disagreement ever. I think that what everybody saw in that moment, for example, was a toxic blow up. What I saw was me standing up for myself, though, because Brandon doesn't even know me to raise my voice at him, to get with him. I don't do that. I don't have to. I don't argue with people. I don't do that. That's not my thing. But I felt like after so many scenes of you and your boys coming at me, I got tired of being on the back end, like, let him have his little moment. That's what we do. That's what first ladies do too. Let them have their little moment. I was tired of that. And I was like, you want to keep trying to publicly play with me? Let's go. So I felt proud of myself. I felt like I finally stood up for myself. Y'all see whatever y'all see, but I see me standing up for myself. And another thing is, I was in a 4-year abusive relationship. So
you
yes,
were?
I was.
Physically,
mentally, emotionally, sexually.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, babe. I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
I'm okay, but I think that being in that relationship taught me to like shut my mouth and just like, let men do what they're gonna do, because I wasn't like that before. And I think that was his goal, was to kind of shut me down and be like, you shut up. I'm the strong one here. You speak when spoken to. And so a lot of that, like when Anthony is coming at me and saying whatever he's saying to me, a lot of that is triggering for somebody like me who when a man is coming at me or coming at me strong or keep verbally saying stuff to me, for me, that was followed up by maybe like a choke or something like that. So for me, I kind of shut down in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Brandon does not know me to like mouth and talk back like that and get with him, yell at him, cuss at him. I don't do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, like I'm saying, like I felt like it was time for me to stand up for myself. So that's what you see. For me, like it's, oh, that's being toxic. For me, I was standing up.
No, do it. I'm sorry. I literally did not know that. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm happy to hear that you survived that, because a lot of women don't, unfortunately. So kudos to you. And this is what I try to tell people. Listen, I love the audience. I love, they're my raindrops too. I love them. There's a small sector of them that just love to like just say negative things to hopefully get a retweet or a response from you, from me, to anybody they attack. And one thing I know for sure is you are strong. And so is LaToya and Colby. It's the craziest thing to me. But what's funny is people was saying, Carlos, you like toxic marriages. No, what you're watching is a real relationship. Y'all want to be on some Cliff and Claire Huxtable mess that is rooted in fantasy and script writing, that when you are seeing, there's not one marriage, straight or gay, that I have witnessed, been privy to, or know personally, that has not mirrored one of my shows. DC, Huntsville, Detroit. People like, child, these couple goals y'all be hashtagging from y'all favorite celebrities, they man cheats on them, and y'all still be like, oh my God, y'all my favorite. Everybody goes through what they go through. The beauty of Love and Marriage franchise is these couples are saying, look, this is my situation. Hopefully we can watch it and learn from it. And hopefully y'all can watch and learn from it. And I believe that's what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. And like you said, nobody has a perfect marriage. Nobody has a perfect relationship. We're just vulnerable enough to put ours on Front Street and let y'all watch it. It's nothing that nobody else is going through. So why are they over there talking about some, oh my God, they're so toxic. What happened to you last week? You know what I'm saying? What did you go through in your relationship a year ago? Like, stop playing. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all go through something. And if you're not, kudos to you, but most of us do. And
Child,
marriage goals,
99.9% does. Go ahead, child.
and marriage goals for me is not the perfect relationship. It's not the picture perfect relationship, but it's a relationship that has weathered the storm and stayed together. That's the hard part. The hard part is weathering the storm and staying together, sticking it out.
Amen.
That's
Amen.
all.
Now, what stuck out in last night's episode is y'all were skating, child, because Detroiters love to skate. Um, and your husband talk about Russell pillow talking. Supposedly, he was pillow talking with you, child, and he made comments that he felt that Kobe was a Kobe cat, that she copies you. He said on my podcast, he said that because you told him that. Do you believe Kobe copies you?
I didn't tell him that Kobe copies me. Those are Brandon's words. You gotta understand, me and Brandon, as you can see, we handle things and situations and people very differently. Now, what I did mention to him were a couple of times where things were very similar. Um, the whole Harper Ray situation. Let me explain that. So Harper Ray is a brand. Where she is, Harper Ray. Where is she? There you go. Harper Ray is a brand, a brand that I work with. How you doing, Harper Ray? And you know, she's a very popular brand here in Detroit. Beautiful accessories, beautiful pieces, Black owned. I had a collaboration with her, and this was an existing collaboration. It wasn't a new collaboration. It was newer, but we had already been working for a little bit. And Kobe reached out to that brand, which is fine. Again, she's a popular brand here. Why wouldn't you reach out to that brand? She was told that she was already working with me, but if I wanted to add her to the collaboration, that was up to me. So Kobe reached out to me and she texted me and she said that, you know, Harper Ray wants us to collaborate. You know, let me know what you think so I can get back to her. So I'm like, Harper Ray wants us to collaborate. So right there, I'm already confused. Like, well, we already have a collaboration. But I'm like, okay, I told her straight up. I said, Kobe, I don't understand. I was like, I'm confused about the ask right now. I said, but let me get back to you. And so I was like, okay, let me just at least pitch this. Cause you know, with the anything that the show is following, we have to pitch it to production because we can't just show up with cameras. You got to get clearances and all that. You got to vet out the space. So whatever we want, you know, production to follow, we have to tell them. So I pitched to production Harper Ray. I'm like, you know, this is a brand that I'm working with. I want you guys to follow me on one of my collaborations with them. And they were like, oh, we already have a pitch from Harper Ray with Kobe. Kobe's already pitched Harper Ray. And I'm like, huh? So now I'm confused. And I'm like, well, let me reach out to Harper Ray. And I'm like, did you just like ask somebody else to my collaboration without speaking to me? And she's like, no, we didn't. What are you talking about? And I'm like, well, when I went to pitch, you know, this to production, they said that I can't because it's already been pitched by Kobe. And they're like, well, we don't have an existing collaboration with Kobe. We have a collaboration with you. And if you want to add Kobe to the collaboration, that's on you. So now I'm really confused as to like why she pitched a collaboration to production that wasn't her collaboration. And I haven't had a conversation with her about it. So that's why when we sat down at skating, I wanted to get clarity on that because I was legitimately confused. And so it was never that I didn't want to collaborate with her. That's just not how you do it. let's sit down, let's talk about what type of collaboration we want to work with. Let's figure out what brand we want to work with together, and then let's together pitch to a brand. And so the whole, like, she just blew up on me as soon as I started like asking her like what happened and what was that all about. Instead of her saying, oh my God, Christina, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to come off that way. This is what I meant. This is what I was trying to do or trying to say. She just went straight off on me. And I was really taken aback and confused, because as long as me and Kobe has been friends, we have never so much to had a single disagreement. So that was literally way out of left field. I was literally stunned. So to backtrack on that, I told Brandon about the whole like Harper Ray thing. And I'm like, I can talk to my husband about anything I want, just like anybody else is allowed to talk. Call it pillow talking. People talk to their spouses. You don't like it, you don't like it. I don't care if somebody is talking to their spouse. Just talk to your spouse. That's what we do. I told Brandon about it, and I'm like, am I tripping? I did pitch I told Kobe about a sip and see. And I'm like, because I have a collaboration with Neiman Marcus. And I'm like, I want to do the sip and see. You know, we don't know if it's going to work because there's so many brands mixed into Neiman Marcus. We don't know if we'll get clearances. A day later or the next day, she's like, hey, I just want to let you know that I pitched a sip and see to production. You know, let me know if you want to collaborate on it. So I'm just like, so to me, it might have been,
it was compounded. It was so many examples.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's why, so nobody was like, Kobe's copying off of me. I was just like, babe, am I tripping? Like, and y'all hear me say this in one of the episodes or one of the scenes. I don't want to overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have every right to run it by my husband to see if I'm tripping. Sometimes we be tripping. Tripping.
Do you think Brandon was tripping for bringing it up at bowling and referring to her as...
Yes.
Okay.
I was so upset with him because that conversation never had to go that way. And those weren't my words. Those are your words, his words. And you got to understand, Brandon might have still been on a little edge from the whole anniversary thing. Kobe, I feel like Brandon and Kobe are one and the same. They did the same thing. They did the same exact thing.
So is Brandon a Kobe cat? I'm teasing.
I call him a Kobe cat, but they both had these pillow talk conversations and then come back, you know what I'm saying, and say it in their own way. They both did the same exact thing. What I thought was interesting was that Brandon and I got no grace on here. But when it came to the anniversary thing, we extended so much grace to Kobe and Russell. Brandon's like, oh, bro, I'm not mad at you. It's all good. It's cool, bro. Like, we're bros. I'm good. Kobe, I'm okay. You know, Christina, I'm so sorry. Kobe, you don't have to apologize. It's okay. Me doing what big sister do. T, come on. Me doing what big sister do. You know, it's okay. Make her feel better. I don't want her to feel bad. It's okay.
So you felt they didn't give you the same grace with the Kobe cat situation?
Oh. I mean, they were completely like mad. Russell wanted to break every bone in Brandon's body. Kobe like, how am I fake? Talking about something. What she saying? That really annoyed me. I don't want it to be all about me. I would have never done that because I don't want everything to be about me. Ma'am, this is my collaboration. Like, it is about me. It's my collaboration. And I didn't pitch it with you in mind because we never discussed that. In hindsight, I can't even say that I get it. Like, I just felt like that was really overboard. I feel like it could have been handled completely different. I feel like if she would have just understood what I was trying to say or been open enough to hear me out and hear what my ask was, that it would have never escalated to that. It never had to go there. And then another thing is, if we have a sister relationship, what part of you, what's really on the inside of your heart to make you react to me that way? Knowing that we've never had any type of disagreement, knowing that you've never known me to be nasty or a gatekeeper, or women in Detroit know I share everything. I'm not a gatekeeper. I share information. I connect people. Like, why all of a sudden today did I become this horrible person? Because I wanted clarity on why you pitched my collaboration to production before I could.
How did you feel about LaToya being in the midst of it? And
LaToya need to mind her business. Her and Anthony have like a thing about being in other people's business. I mean, I'm just saying, I like LaToya, but I just feel like
you do.
I do. I think she may not be too fond of me. I've always liked LaToya. Like that LaToya that I got that day, that was a shock to me too. Y'all people. Like, where did this come from? And I just feel like she's like, there's more to go around. And I'm like, girl, do you know how collaborations work? You're a whole physical therapist. You know nothing about social media. You know what I'm saying? You don't, not that, stop it, Carlos. Not that anything is wrong with being a physical therapist, but I'm saying stay in your lane. If that's what you know about, because I felt like she was throwing fuel on the fire. Instead of like being, both of us are in a position to be a big sis to Kobe. I feel like instead of throwing fuel on it and making it seem like you know what you're talking about and Christina's wrong, sit back and be like, okay, guys, I don't really understand this. I don't really understand the influencer world, but can we just kind of calm down and both of y'all like come together and so we can figure it out? Not choosing sides and pointing finger at one person and saying one person is wrong when clearly I'm not the one standing up yelling, calling people fake and having a tantrum. Stop. Saying, I just felt like that scene was thrown.
You did. I will say this. I will say this. Unless you deserve an Oscar more than Angela Bassett does, you did look shocked. The look on your face was like, you really look like, wait, what is it? Like, how did this go so left? Like, what? Now, I will say this. You look shocked.
That literally was what was in my head. I'm thinking like, did I say something wrong? Like all I did was say, hey, speaking of collaborations, I was a little bit confused about the, whole Harper Ray thing. What you were confused? I was just like, I'm confused. Like, what is happening here? I do not know that Kobe. I've never met that Kobe in my life. So I was shocked. I love Kobe to death. She's my little sis. Like, I feel like she should have trusted me the same way that she's trusted me all these years to be the same big sis and good person that I've been. Why all of a sudden am I a different person while you're sitting across from me at this table? Like, what is the disconnect? What happened or what's in your head that made this time, us having a conversation, any different than any other time? That I didn't get.
Do you think Anthony and LaToya are messy?
Yes. Well, I mean, yes, I guess yes. I mean, it's no way to kind of circle. I'm trying to save it here, but it's really no way to save it. I feel like when you're inserting yourself in other people's situations and other people's businesses and marriages without knowing like any context or full context, I feel like that's a little bit messy, especially when you're running with that information and completely judging that person going forward. That's messy to me.
So would you say Brandon's messy for judging Kobe based on what you said to him?
I feel like what Brandon did was messy.
Okay.
I feel like he should have never done that. I feel like he did say, oh, I felt like I never protect you. I felt I didn't protect you in the other times. I wanted to stand up. I don't need you to stand up between me and Kobe. That's my little sis. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed you to stand up with the men. I didn't need that. I can hold my own. Like You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to start with nobody. I'm not the type of person that's going to comfort anybody and attack anybody. That's just not my character. But I do know how to defend myself and stand up for myself when I need to. So I was good there. There was never a need for Brandon to step in and do that.
What's your sign?
The cross. Do all of that. I was born December 10th. That's all I'm going to say.
You are a Sagittarius like Nene Leakes, Evelyn Lozado, Nicki Minaj.
So what is that? What does that tell you?
Oh, baby. Find out for yourself, child.
Yeah, because I don't really know about all the astrology.
You know who Nene Leakes is, right?
Yes.
You know who Evelyn Lozado is?
I do know who Evelyn is.
And you know Nicki Minaj. What do those three women have in common?
I mean, I feel like they're very spicy and outspoken.
Bingo. Okay, so anyways, moving on.
You know what? You said something to me a while ago. You said, I know there's a fire inside of you, and I know it's going to come out.
Oh, and baby, and you have definitely proven me to be right. And one thing I will say, don't let anybody dim your light.
They can't.
So we'll see what happens in next week's episode. But Christina, I can talk. Oh, Christina, baby. Okay.
Are we done already? No.
I know we gotta. I mean, listen. I literally. This is the thing about it. We have so many more episodes to go to, plus a 2-part reunion. That there's so much I want to talk to you about, but I can't give away the episodes. So just know. Yeah. Anywho, let the world know, baby, what they can expect from Love and Marriage Detroit, because everybody loves this show and they're so into it. How has the feedback been? Well, before we get into the rest of the season, because I want you to talk about that first. I mean, too, but first, how does it feel to know that people are watching you? They have this commentary. People are obsessed with Love and Marriage Detroit. Like, how does all this feel for you?
I think for one, I've been kind of in like a spotlighted position my whole life. My dad is, when I was born, my dad was already a pastor. Both my grandparents were bishops. And then my dad is a musician. The Bowman name holds a lot of weight in Buffalo, New York. Like, we've just always been like on the forefront of things. So, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of feel like I've been prepared for these type of things, this moment in time. I think I've been prepared for it. God prepared me for it. So it doesn't really sway me either way. It's not giving me the big head. It's not making me feel scared or nervous or anxious. People gonna talk. People talked my whole life. People talk. And so, you know, I take a lot of it with a grain of salt. I think you have to be secure and confident in who you are. You have to know who you are and stand firm in that, and don't let, you know, the outside voices interfere with, you know, what you have going on in your mind and your heart. So, I mean, I do love it. I love that we have this opportunity. Thank you, Carlos. To be, I feel like it's a blessing and it's a testimony. To be able to be used by God and, you know, just highlight what really happens in marriages. Like, there's so many people that look at these perfect social media influencers and see their perfect marriages, and they set the standard for themselves, and they're like, well, you know, this is how it's supposed to be, and if it's not like this, then I need to leave my husband because I need to find this perfect marriage, this perfect person. And I feel like we're giving the other side of that. We're giving the real side of that. Like, this happens too. Like, we do have amazing Huxtable moments, but we also have this, and it's ugly. And our marriage gets here maybe every 5 years, and then we have to work through that and then come out on top again. And then we might have to do it again, and we might have to do it after 50 years of marriage. This is the reality. of marriage. And so I feel blessed that God has chosen us to be on the forefront to really display like how it really is. So that's how I look at it. It's an assignment from the Lord.
It is. And listen, God has used me to give opportunities to everybody, whether it's on camera, behind the scenes, obviously myself too, but it's really just to make people's dreams come true. Did you ever think you'll be on a reality TV show?
You know what? When I was in high school, I was addicted to Real World, Road Rules. Like that was my thing. I thought like back then, I'm like, oh, I should apply for a reality show. But as I got older, no, I never really thought about it. Like I knew in my heart that I would be like on some sort of platform,
Mm-hmm.
a big platform. I didn't know it would come from reality TV, but you know, I feel like if God presented it to me and everything went smooth sailing, that it was for me. And this is where God wants me right now.
What can you tell people about the rest of the season of Love and Marriage Detroit and what to expect?
Buckle up, baby. Get your popcorn. It's about to get real. It's about to get really raw. I feel like you've seen a lot of what marriages go through and how we're trying to overcome those things, but you'll also see how things can go sour in friendships. And that's a real thing too. You know, you'll see how we navigate friendships and just our total connection, like individual friendships and then our whole entire friend group. So you'll see how we navigate that. God bless.
God bless. And look, it is a fantastic season. I literally don't have a critique about this season.
Oh.
It's 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 the bomb. It's perfection. It's good. It's balanced and it's fun and it's dramatic and it's crazy and it's surprising and it's shocking and it's refreshing and it's emotional. It checks all the boxes of what you want from a show, a reality show. It checks all the boxes. And the three couples, you guys have made Love and Marriage Detroit the most talked about new reality show out right now. People love this show, and it's because of the rawness that you guys bring. And I could not be more proud to be in business with you all. So I want to thank you for accepting the request to be on the show.
Absolutely. We love you, Carlos. And like Brandon said, like you helped saving our marriage because this again has allowed us to really see from the outside what things look like and how we really are. So it's made us better people and better in our marriage. So we love you.
See, y'all, I do say marriages. All right. Christina, where can the world find you, follow you, support everything you have going on, baby, and buy your Shut Up and Pray mugs and any other apparel you may have?
So you can find me right now on Instagram at Christina Bowman Smith. My website is under construction, but there is merch. There's some of my merch actually from my little punchlines on the show on there too. So
Bull Junk is one of them.
Bull Junk. You asking, are you telling? All the things. It's on there. So maybe I can get it to go live by Saturday, Sunday. We'll see. But yes, you can. That'll be ChristinaBowmanSmith.com.
Yes, I love you, baby. And we have a 2-part reunion coming up after we wrap this season. It's just as good. Love and Marriage Detroit. New time. This upcoming Saturday, 8:00, 7 Central. So don't forget, look right there. Yes, at the bottom of the screen. Love and Marriage Detroit has a new time. 8:00, 7 Central on the Oprah Winfrey Network every Saturday. And if you miss it on Saturday Live, catch it on the OWN app, on demand, or your DVR the next day. Christina, I love you. Tell Brandon and his messy self I said hi, and I'll see you soon, babe.
Love you.
Love you.